School District 624, would the clerk please call the roll?
Mullen.
Here.
Newmaster.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Arcand.
Here.
Beloit.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Ellison here.
All right, thank you all very much. If you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before us tonight we have an agenda that's been printed, and I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ellison, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Beloit. All those in favor of the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, the agenda is approved. We also have before us a consent agenda, and those are sundry items that we get on a monthly basis. One of the things that we're very thankful for is the generosity of our community towards our school district, and this month is the same. So with that, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Chapman, is there a second?
Second.
A second by Dr. Newmaster. This will require a roll call for the consent agenda. Would the clerk please read the roll?
Mullen.
Aye, here, yes. It's only May.
Newmaster. Aye.
Aye.
Well, I shouldn't tell you what to vote. It's a vote for the consent agenda.
That's so. Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Arcand.
Aye.
Beloit.
Aye.
Chapman.
Aye.
Ellison, aye.
And the motion passes. Okay, now that we got that one straight, thank you. We are now at the portion of our meeting for public forum. We ask that public forum to not exceed 30 minutes, and it's 3 minutes per speaker. All we ask that you do is pick up a sheet of paper on the desk and fill it out, and that you bring it up to the board. This month we've got one sheet, and I apologize, I cannot read the writing. So, did you get the name there?
It's Ray Joanowskis. Thank you for
Ray.
pronouncing that for us.
I appreciate you. Yes, please.
Okay.
Can you come up here and, I'm sorry.
Right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for the last year, the school has been closed basically for most of the students. And I have 2 grandchildren in the school. COVID-19, the money that was given to the school district the first time was $3.1 million. It was spent on nurses, cleaning service, air filtration, paras, but the school still did not open. We have lost an entire year of education for our children. Whether you want to think so or not, I'm not really good at this, but my point is you are supposed to be making policy that brings the children and gives them the achievement level they need to reach. And it has been a complete failure this year. That is my point. The other thing I want to talk about is the idea that we've been talking a lot about racism in White Bear Lake. And there was an incident about a month ago where a student basically lied, but not only did she lie, she went further than the lie. And the whole community is under the impression that we, because of this incident, is just elevated it more. And that is not necessarily true. There are elements always of people that are bad actors, bad characters. But for the most part, White Bear is a good school district and a good area. And I've left messages for you school board members, and you have not returned my phone call. I find it disheartening when I'm trying to speak with you and you're not there and you're not going to call me back. I just find it very disheartening. I would like to see some policy making in the part of my school board members. I find it hard to believe that we seem to think it's more about protecting the teachers than it is about educating the students. And I really would like to see some policy making to elevate the achievement level on the students' part. All right?
Thank you. I
Okay.
think, ma'am, I think what I'll do is ask Dr. Kazmierczak to follow up with you and answer,
I've
kind of
spoken.
clarify some of those questions.
Yes, I've
I'll make
spoken
sure
with
that he
the
has
doc-
your contact information, and I will ask him to reach
I've
out.
spoken with the superintendent, and I've spoken with the assistant to the superintendent. I've spoken with the board members, some of them. I find it disheartening that it doesn't seem that my grandchildren are spinning their wheels at home for the most part. Now they're in a hybrid system, but that didn't start till after we had spring break. The kindergartners, the kids that were in kindergarten this year, national study said these kids are behind, big time. And I don't see what the school boards are doing for policy changes to make it better next fall.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Amen. Amen.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak to the school board? Okay, thank you very much. We will now move into our first informational item, the student recognition. Dr. Kazmierczak.
All right, I'll hand it off to Miss Betty. She will get things rolling.
Sure. As,
Maybe remind everyone how we're doing these currently. Yep.
Yep. As you remember, our student recognition ceremonies had previously been held in person before each of our school board meetings. This year that's changed a bit, and we have changed to a video format instead. And so tonight's video that we've got for you is a combination of some students that have been recognized both in academics and in athletics and at the state and national levels. So we'll get this started here. Well, congratulations to all of the students. There you go, for state and national level recognitions. And as you know as well, we've always done a certificate and a bear pin for the students. They did receive those at the school as well. So congratulations, students.
Thank you, Ms. Fetty. We will now move to our next informational item, C2, which is the student liaison recognition to the school board. As some of you might know, every year we have 2 student liaisons, one that is a senior and one that is a junior. The junior then continues on for a 2-year piece to represent the district or represent the student body the following year. Every year in May, we recognize them with a gift and a certificate and a thank you for their work in representing the student body on the school board. This month, neither one of the students were able to make the meeting just due to prior commitments. So we want to make sure that they will then get the gift and the certificate, and we want to thank them publicly for their work. So appreciate everything they do. We will now move into our next agenda item, C3, which is the superintendent's report. Dr. Kazmierczak.
All right, thank you, Chair Mullen, members of the board. I want to take a quick moment to congratulate the students we recognize tonight for state and national level activities. Honorees this month represented both athletic and academic areas. Well done, students, and thank you, staff and family members who support these students along the way. The following celebrations are being recognized in May. Mental Health Month, Teacher Appreciation Week was last week, School Lunch Hero Day last week, National School Nurse Day, Eid al-Fitr, Armed Forces Day, and Memorial Day. And on Memorial Day, there will be no school and district offices are closed. Congratulations to Kendall Gonzalez, who teaches kindergarten at Matoska International, who was recently named the 2021 White Bear Lake Area Educators Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, too, to all 6 finalists in the White Bear Lake Area Educators 2021 Teacher of the Year process for your service to our students. Distance Learning Academy applications are now being accepted for the 21-22 school year for those who choose the distance learning model for their children. The DLA page of the district website provides additional information and links to virtual parent information sessions taking place Wednesday, May 12th at both 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Those who enroll in the DLA by May 20th will be guaranteed a spot in the 21-22 Distance Learning Academy. Applications received after May 20th may be placed on a waiting list. And we are eager to welcome our class of 2034 incoming kindergartners. As students are officially enrolled, they receive a welcome packet from their school, complete with a I'm a Bear t-shirt. Find enrollment paperwork and additional information at www.isd624.org/kindergarten. And I want to provide an update on our equity planning. So we continue to work with students, community members, consultants, and parents as we plan to engage in community forums to address racism, school culture and climate, and building unity to create an anti-racist community. Student leaders and administrators are working hard to address racism in schools. Several overarching themes have been identified, including policies, curriculum, professional development, school climate, communication, race affinity spaces, restorative practices, and a protocol for reporting incidents of racism and bias. School board, cabinet, building, and site leaders have started to take the Intercultural Development Inventory, or IDI, in which leaders take an assessment, receive coaching, and an individual growth plan around their ability to build intercultural competence. This research-based assessment is used by thousands of organizations and individuals to assist in meeting diversity and inclusion goals. By mid-fall 2021, close to 80 district leaders will have participated in the IDI, coaching, and received an individual growth plan. We will also receive organizational data that will assist us as we continue to support our leaders' growth and development. A comprehensive 3-year professional development plan has been developed for our school board, cabinet, district, and building leadership around equity, racial equity, and anti-racism and change management. This plan includes the IDI and starts this spring. Paula Forbes, whose name you might recognize as she worked with Reimagine Minnesota quite extensively. Paula Forbes will be providing support to our district as we continue to work with student leaders around policy and practice changes in student discipline. Additionally, Paula will provide executive coaching to a few key leaders in our district as we support our schools and district in combating racism. And lastly, we have been working with Dr. Daryl Wing Su for student, staff, and community professional development opportunities around the impacts of racial microaggression on BIPOC student achievement and the strategies to address racial microaggressions on a micro and macro scale. Right, and we continue to remind students and families of the importance of following steps to staying healthy and to stay home when feeling sick. It is important to remember that while the state's restrictions are loosening up a bit in the coming weeks, school districts are obligated to finish out the school year, continuing to follow the safe learning plan that has been in place throughout the school year. While Minnesota Department of Education and the Minnesota Department of Health will continue to provide guidance and recommendations for schools to ensure learning can safely continue, we are hopeful that we won't need to have a safe learning plan for the 21-22 school year. That's it, Chair Mullen.
Thank you, Dr. Kazmierczak. Are there any questions or comments for Dr. Kazmierczak around the superintendent's report? Ms. Ellison.
Dr. Kazmierczak, can I ask about graduation?
Sure. There will be more information coming out with the changes from last week. So we had been planning on 2 different sessions at the South Campus Stadium, outside, but now we're planning to hopefully bring it back inside to Aldrich, 1 session. But we're still working out the details, confirming the venues available and those kinds of things. So that's what we're hoping to do. We're hoping that at a minimum we'll have the class together in one. So it will either be at the South Campus Stadium or it'll be at Aldrich Arena. I didn't talk to Mr. Bosch today, so some of the details might have been worked out today. But I would think by the end of the week we'll know which direction we're going. So
Great.
I'll make sure I get that out to you right away. And I know Mr. Bosch has been communicating with parents as well. So.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's.
I have a question.
Excuse me, that's not the way, the public forum is already done. If you want to wait till after the meeting.
If you get any questions.
No, it's for the board if they have questions. Is there any other questions or comments regarding the superintendent's report? Okay, hearing or seeing none, we'll move to our next item on the agenda, which is a discussion item, which is D1, which is the facility maintenance bond. Mr. Wald.
Thank you, Chair Mullen, members of the board, Dr. Kazmierczak. We bring to LTFM facilities bond issuance tonight. This was a scheduled bond issuance for the improvement of school facilities. It requires board approval, although the tax impact was factored into the tax impact statements that we explained as part of the November 2019 bond referendum, and so it's consistent with those tax statements. These bonds will largely finance projects at North Campus while the addition to the building is being performed as well. It also requires us to submit a 10-year maintenance plan to MDE. We do that every July, but anytime we issue bonds for LTFM, we also need to update our 10-year LTFM plan. So that's in the packet tonight as well. Tonight, Shelby McQuay from Ellers Municipal Advisors is here to explain the process as they'll be guiding us through this. So I'll introduce Shelby McQuay.
Thank you, Mr. Wald. Welcome, Ms. McQuaid.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me. And I had Tim and Andy a little worried that I was going to be running a little late, but I did my track meet at South Campus and did a little shuffle on the carpool, and I'm here on time, so no worries. Perfect. Yeah. So I'll just walk quickly through the pre-sale report tonight, and then your action item tonight is the resolution for the authorization of the facilities maintenance bonds. So the first few pages just are our standard language, stepping through all of the necessary procedures associated with issuing the tax-exempt debt and where we are in the process of updating the schedule. So I'll just point out One of the changes on page 4, you'll just note that one of your other service providers, you have the same bond attorney, but they are now with another firm. So you'll see the firm Kennedy and Graven listed as your bond attorney. That's just an update, but followed the same bond attorney, just at a new location. On page 5 then, just the proposed debt issuance schedule tonight is the issuance of those, or the authorization of the facilities maintenance bonds. Right around Memorial Day weekend, we'll work with Tim and Wayne and Andy through the due diligence process. So that is the official statement that you, that's mailed to you. That is your document that's used to be presented to the underwriters prior to the purchase of the bonds. That's a document that we mostly compile, but we'll just work with the administration to make sure that everything is accurate and complete. At that time, we'll also have a conference call with the rating agency and get an update on your rating and make sure everything is set to go prior to the sale of bonds. We plan to sell on June 14th, and Greg or I will be back at the meeting on the 14th to present the results of that sale. And then on July 8th is when you close on those bonds. And the investment team is already aware that you'll have additional funds available that time, working with Crouse Anderson with the draw schedule to make sure you're timing those investments and maximizing returns at that point. So the bulk of the pre-sale report then is just the schedules beginning on page 6. So that is the sources and uses, which explains how much money is going out and coming in. So with this setup, to make sure you have enough available in your project costs, we're going to ask you to authorize the issuance of up to $31.1 million. We're currently estimating a sale of $28.675 million, and that's because we do, under current market conditions, anticipate a premium. That's where the underwriters will pay an excess amount over the face value of the bonds, and that lowers your total borrowing costs. So the estimated investment earnings is a real conservative estimate, but we want to include it here as you're able to use those investment earnings towards the project. The allowance for discount bidding is the fee that the underwriters take. Capitalized interest, because you're not going to be able to make that levy until beginning in January of taxes payable 22, so an interest payment will come due prior to being able to collect the tax revenues on that, so we'll just take that first portion of the interest payment out of the bond proceeds. The legal and fiscal costs there are associated with our costs, the cost of the rating, county fees, and attorney fees. So we anticipate a deposit to the construction fund of $29.9 million. The debt schedule is shown on the next page, which is page 7. This is a real short bond issue compared to that $250 million issue that we had to start off. We're just going to kind of tuck this into your overall financing plan. And we anticipate a really good interest rate as a result of the short schedule and then, of course, the market conditions right now. We're anticipating a true interest cost of 1.05%. The larger debt plan is on the next page, and we just take this plan and continue making updates as we go. So we've made updates to the tax base that plays into the capital project levy, and then the structuring of the debt around there. We've also made an update to the general fund revenue associated with the facilities maintenance bonds. The visual interpretation of that is on the next page, and you can just see how everything is kind of tucking into place, making sure that there's not a lot of fluctuations to the overall tax rate as a result of any of the debt planning and financing planning that you have going on. So 2021 was an increase on the debt plan. We actually used part of the debt plan to manage your overall fluctuations in your school tax levy, but you can see it dropping down a little bit then in taxes payable 22, fitting everything into place. So that's the plan as it stands right now under current market conditions. Again, the overall authorization the intent authorization is up to $31.1 million, and that's the action item you have. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. McQuaid. Is there any questions regarding the long-term facility maintenance plan? Mr. Wald, if you don't mind, can you just talk a little bit or Ms. McQuaid, either one, but I know that, and it was several years ago, I don't even think it was 2 or 3 years ago when the legislator told school districts that they can bond for long-term facility maintenance because it's maintenance that typically happens every year. I'm just trying to make sure the public is aware of, they don't think that we're just continuing to sell bonds, that we're actually doing it as part of our process for maintenance on the buildings.
Can I take that?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. McQuaid.
So the legislature did authorize the long-term facilities maintenance program a couple of years ago, which was $380 per pupil. Fortunately, White Bear Lake is one of the larger districts that was grandfathered in, and so you have the ability as one of about 27 districts, 26, maybe 27 this year, that because of your size and your building age, you have been allowed to issue bonds and generate additional dollars to through board action, not through going to the voters, to keep up your facilities. And so that's something that was incorporated into the overall plan, and I don't know if you have more to add.
Yeah, we were grandfathered into that from the original alt facilities funding, it was called, and it was based on the square footage of the buildings, of the facilities that you had, and the age. And so using a formula, determined that we had a lot of old buildings that would require a lot of significant maintenance. And so we were one of the districts that were grandfathered into that.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Thank you, Ms. McQuaid. Are there any other questions regarding the LTFM bonds in the report? Okay. Thank you all very much. And with that, we'll move to our first operational item, which is E1, which is action on the resolution and the intent to sell facility maintenance bonds. Mr. Wall.
Yeah, so Ms. McQuaid just explained the issuance of the 2021 LTFM bonds, and we're recommending that the board approve the resolution of intent to sell LTFM bonds as they were discussed tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wald. You've heard the recommended action. Is there a motion to approve the recommended action?
So moved.
A motion by Dr. Arcand. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Beloit. Is there any discussion regarding the recommended action? Hearing or seeing none, this will require a roll call vote.
Mullen.
Aye.
Newmaster.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Arcand.
Aye.
Beloit.
Aye.
Chapman.
Aye.
Ellison. Aye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wald. I believe the next item is probably yours too. Is the next item is operational item E2, which is action on the revised long-term facility maintenance 10-year plan, the one that gets submitted to the state, correct? Oh, is that, I'm sorry, I'm a little ahead of my
Buying
time.
those as part of E1.
Okay.
So the 10-year plan is included in that.
Well, I have it as an action item, so I still want to make a.
Go ahead and move on
So
it.
we'll just move, ask for a motion to approve the 10-year plan as part of that process.
So moved.
A motion by Ms. Ellison. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Dr. Newmaster. Any discussion regarding the action? Hearing or seeing none, let's just do a roll call on this also, because it involves money. Would the clerk please read the roll?
Mullen.
Aye.
Newmaster.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Arcand.
Aye.
Beloit.
Aye.
Chapman.
Aye.
Ellison. Aye.
Thank you all very much. With that, we will move to E3, which is the action on the nutrition services milk products contract for school year 2021 through 2022. Mr. Wald, is that you?
It is, yeah. Thank you, Chair Mullen and members of the board. Every third year, the district issues a request for bids from milk vendors, and we've done so this spring. We had 2 bids to provide over 3.2 million pints of milk over the next 3 years. So anyone who says kids don't drink milk anymore is wrong. At least in White Bear Lake, 3.2 million pints of milk. So we're recommending the board approve the low bid of $182,314.98 from St. Paul Beverage Solutions Incorporated, a company who currently holds our contract for milk services.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Wald. You've heard the recommended action. Is there a motion?
Question before we recommend, because I have 184.
We have 184, yeah.
Right.
Is it 182 or 184?
Yeah, we have 184, 381,
Make sure we have the
98.
right number, sir. Yeah, that's what my board packet says too. Is it incorrect?
I'm sorry, I transcribed it wrong, so go with numbers in the board packet.
So 184, 381, 98. That's what we have. Is that what everybody has?
Yep.
Okay, so that is the current supplier for 184, 381, 98.
Correct.
Is there a motion to approve that number?
So moved.
There's been a motion by Ms. Ellison. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Chapman. Are there any questions regarding, 3.2 million pints of milk?
Right.
Ms. Beloit.
I was just, why the big price difference between the two? Do you have any idea?
That was the case last time too, and there was really a third vendor too who just, we think didn't bid because the volume's high, and is maybe more than they could provide. Yeah, so I can't say why one company bid so much lower than the other, but that was the case last time we bid with milk too. This company's really bid lower than the others.
Mr. Chapman.
Mr. Wald, maybe you mentioned this already, but is this the St. Paul Beverage, is this the one that had the contract before?
Correct.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Other questions, comments? Okay, hearing or seeing none, this will require a roll call vote.
Mullen.
Aye.
Newmaster.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Arcand.
Aye.
Beloit.
Aye.
Chapman.
Aye.
Ellison, aye.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wald. We will now move into our next operational item, E4, which is the action on the 2021-2022 school year calendar adjustment. Dr. Gillespie.
Chair Mullen, members of the board, good evening. At our last work study session on April 26th, we had a conversation around the first day of school for 6/12, which we approved to be Tuesday, September 7th. That is Rosh Hashanah, a Jewish holiday, and it was brought to my attention by some community members and staff members that that was a holiday. We talked about the impact in various districts and how they've decided to handle that. And based on our conversation, I bring before you an updated calendar where our 6 through 12 students would start on Wednesday, September 8th. The Tuesday would be a staff development and collaboration time for our staff. That would align with our number of instructional days for the 22-23 school year, with the exception of 6th and 9th grade, where we've already decided that we would bring them in for that transition start day starting in 22-23. So my recommendation is that you approve the calendar, the updated calendar that you see.
So you've heard the recommended action to update and adjust the school calendar for 2021-2022. Is there a motion to approve the adjustment?
So moved.
A motion by Dr. Arcand. Is there a second? Excuse me.
Second.
A second by Ms. Beloit. Any discussion regarding the recommended action? I know that we've discussed this at our last work study in length, so appreciate everything, appreciate all your work for this on the calendar. We'll have a roll call vote on this just to be safe. Would ask the clerk to please read the roll.
Mullen.
Aye.
Newmaster.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Arcand.
Aye.
Beloit.
Aye.
Chapman.
Aye.
Ellison, aye.
All right, and the motion passes. Thank you very much. We have now before us the second reading of several school board policies. Just so everybody knows how this works is we have a policy committee here in the district. They create the policies. We have board representatives on that policy committee. Those policies then come before the school board for 2 consecutive readings or 2 readings. And then the first one is to answer questions and to get feedback, and then the second one is to pass the policies as they become in thing. This month for our second reading, we have one policy that has been removed after getting some input from Ehlers. It needs to go back to the policy committee for some revamping. And then in your board packet, that is policy 729. That policy will then be removed from tonight's agenda and put into, to go back to the policy committee for some revamping. So with that, tonight we have policy 403, policy 498, policy 502, policy 512, policy 527, Policy 605, Policy 606, 616, and 801. With that, I'd like to do them all in one fell swoop for updating those policies, and would ask for a motion to approve those policies for their second reading.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Ms. Thompson. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Dr. Arcan. Any discussion regarding those policies? Hearing or seeing, Mr. Chapman, please excuse me.
Rather than trying to scroll all the way back to the beginning, 729 that was pulled, what is that particular policy number or policy about?
I have it in there. Do you want me to read it?
The Minnesota Post Insurance debt compliance. Thank you.
Okay.
Wayne scratched it out on mine, so I couldn't see through the scratch. But
Okay.
so it's just some insurance stuff that they need to.
We'll have a revision at the next committee meeting. We've got input from Ellers, late-breaking input from them, and we're going to just pull it and talk about it at policy committee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the policies, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the policies are adopted. We are now at the time of our meeting for board forum. Would open the floor up to board members that wish to make comments, statements, anything going on that they would like for the public to be aware of going into the meeting. Ms. Elson.
I just wanted to commend the Teacher of the Year committee for all of their work. I watched the awards ceremony virtually the other day and got to hear from people who were speaking about the 6 finalists, and it was tremendous. And so a big thank you to everybody who put a lot of time and work into that. It was great to be able to watch it from my house and to see all the great teachers that we have in the district. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Elson. Other comments? Dr. Newmaster.
I'm just going to mention, I always read through all the personnel and the retirements, and I'm looking at the people that I worked with, many of them, who are retiring, and they're all amazing to be thanked for all the years. I look at the science teachers and all the other teachers that I worked with, and there's some pretty impressive people retiring, and I know we have new people coming in, but you have to acknowledge as the guard changes that people who really put in super efforts should be commended for all of those years of service. So I'm not even going to try to mention them all because they're listed.
Thank you, Dr. Newmaster. Others? I just want to go back and thank the board liaisons from the student body again, and I know that I had said some things, but I'll just tell you, this has been definitely an interesting year as they came on and started to work through all the concern, everything that was moving on. So just really appreciate their work and bringing back feedback from the student body as we've been trying to navigate this time, and really appreciate everything they've done. So I know that they were unable to attend, but I just wanted to make sure that goes on the record as saying thank them very much for their work. Dr. Newmaster.
And I'm remiss, we always acknowledge teachers, but I also look through the retirements of all of our paras and support people, again, people that I know, people in the kitchens that were there when we had events, extra time that they put in, and people that worked in our support services, whether it was the media center or wherever. So we've got some incredible people retiring, and I commend them all, not just teachers.
Thank you, Dr. Newmaster. So if there's nothing else, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Chair Mullen, I move to adjourn.
We've got a motion from Dr. Arcan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from, I think Ms. Thompson got you. Yep. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.